Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in yesterday's video I made the scrappy bunny, and when I got to the end of the video I still had plenty of detail to add to little bunny. I had decided that the little one was going to be the rabbit in question for Honey Bear's dress right there, and I thought, oh well, I've got an hour of stitching at least to finish this off. So I said goodbye, and then right at the very end I said, well, I might just turn the camera back on and film a second episode of me finishing this little rabbit off. So I'm back. So if you haven't seen yesterday's video and you want to see how I actually put this little guy together, I'd recommend you slip back a day, because I'll have them one after the other. There'll be 3 in a row actually. That's the one I made. That one's just a little bit too big. Like, I like it, but it's sort of a little bit too big. So this is the chosen rabbit. And the plan in this video is to get this little flower stitched on. Find a little bead to go in the eye of the flower. Might even just do a little French knot. I haven't yet unpicked the beads on the butterfly. Remember, I was discussing that I didn't like the beads on the body of the butterfly, so I was wholeheartedly going to unpick them. I haven't done that yet. That's another little job. And I'm yet to stitch that piece of tatting around the top of her bodice. So that was all in yesterday's video. So welcome back. And thanks for joining me again as we finish off this little baby bunny. Just bring the thread down to here, because I'm going to now, while I've got this cotton on, goodness me, it's just come unthreaded. So I did have a video scheduled for today, but because Teddy Honey Bear here's dress has consumed me, I'm going to flip that video to probably next week now, and keep playing with Honey Bear's dress. I just can't help myself. So what I'm looking for is something to be the eye. We don't want a blue eye, I don't think. We'll try this little gold bead. Oh gosh, I'm in the wrong spot. I had the eye in my mind, and it's actually the flower I should be looking for. We'll come back to the eye. We'll leave that bead there. What do we put in these? It's a little calico coloured bead. Nope. Don't stress, there is always beads nearby. I'm looking for my favourite little pearly calico coloured bead. Where are you? I know I've got a container of them here. Oh, oops. I've got something I need to show you too. I keep forgetting, and it's been months. When I did that retreat in Melbourne with Forage, Lisa Mattock, the venue that hosted us, I think it was called Mainly Sewing. So it specialised, that's it there, right in front of me. Oh my goodness. Mainly Sewing is like a house on a property that's been set up for retreats. So most of the rooms are bedrooms, it's bunk beds, and then a couple of the big living areas are ready with tables, chairs, like it literally is 100% dedicated to sewing retreats. And there's like heaps of sewing machines, ironing boards. So if you were quilters, it'd be a fantastic venue. Anyway, the lady that owns it, she's the sweetest, sweetest lady. She was so friendly and accommodating and, yeah, really good. You could just see she was fussing Lisa and Lara and making everything really easy. Very, very good. A sidetrack here. Around the walls of this house were collectibles to do with our world of sewing. So there was all sorts there. There was old sample books that kids had made at school from the 1950s and all sorts of things. And I took some random photos, and it wasn't till, because I think we were there a week, at least 4 days. It wasn't until the final day, there was this little, in the main lounge room, dining kitchen zone, had the fireplace and, oh, it's just divine. But in the main area where we were situated, most of the time when we're having our lunch and afternoon tea and that, there was a little alcove off to the side that we sort of didn't go near because there was a doorway in the corner of the room with this little wall partition sort of making it a private, that there was a bedroom there. My guess is probably the master suite was off from that doorway. So we had no reason to even walk into that tiny little alcove. And then out of the blue, one of the girls started squealing with delight because she had walked into that alcove because there was a framed something on the wall that she could see. So she went to investigate. And then as she turned to leave that little nook, tucked in the hook of the nook was this framed piece that just sent absolute joy through her body. Now, I took photos of that piece. Well, we all did. And I've been meaning to show you guys for ages, and I forget about it, and then I think, oh, I must revisit that gorgeous collectible. And yesterday when you were watching this and I was talking about Alna's treasures of lace. Now, that's a whole nother story. Well, I've grabbed those containers and they're sitting just off camera here. So when I finish this rabbit, I'm going to go through them because there might be a morsel that could go on Honey Bear's dress. So back to what I was talking about is when I went to investigate, because suddenly this tiny little nook filled up with crazy sewing ladies all wanting to see what the treasure was on the wall. And what it was is back when the war was on, World War I think, I did take a picture of the description or the story connected to this artwork. So when I pick up my phone and show you guys the pictures, I'll put the pictures at the end of the video too because they're just, oh. Anyway, back to the story. I bet you're all waiting, sitting on the edge of your seat. What was in the corner? What is Corrine talking about? Well, back in the war, this gentleman, he had his wife, girlfriend, his sweetheart back at home. And instead of writing her a letter or sending a postcard like many of the men would have done, send a letter home, he stitched a letter to her. He did a little piece of needlework, and that's what she got in the mail. Oh my gosh. I can feel my heart filling with absolute love for this man. I don't even know him, but I'll show you in a minute. So whoever in the family has kept these pieces has framed them, or maybe she did. I'm not sure. Maybe it says in the description. They've been framed and were in this frame on the wall in this little alcove, and no one had spotted it until the final day when someone was, you know, having a final look around. So I took some photos. Each little postcard that he did is the size of no bigger than maybe a business card, maybe a fraction bigger than a business card. Oh, and he spoke to her through needle and thread. Oh my goodness, like seriously. All right, I just got to grab some more pearls. I need some of those in here. Let's put that away and let's show you what I'm talking about. Alrighty, that's the piece. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it up to the camera and now I'll zoom in. So she has stitched, or someone has stitched, all of these little postcards together on this piece of silk. Even the silk was breaking down. You can see how it's all breaking down there and coming away from the backing. But he's got the flags, he's got the Australian emblem, little messages of love with wishes, embroidery, little houses. Seriously, I've never seen anything like it. Forget-me-nots. There's the Australian flag again, the sunrise, the little towns he was going through, French flags, 1917. The American flag is in there. Oh, butterfly. There's someone tending to some flowers there. More flowers and a sunrise. He must have seen a lot of sunrises. They're everywhere. I'm getting lots of Facebook messages come through from our group that is our street. There must be a dodgy car in the street, so the gang's onto it. After a few house break-ins, everyone's like constantly watching each other's property and we're running number plates. Is that the same picture as up here? That's a little girl or a little boy. Oh no, it's the same. Oh, he did too. Happy Easter. What's on this one? Nothing. Happy Easter. Oh, two the same. Isn't that odd? Maybe he had a girlfriend and he sent it to the wrong lady. Anyway, stop thinking like that. I've just taken the romance away from the whole thing. Good on you, Corrine. So there's the piece. And then I just did some random photos where I really zoomed in. I wonder why there's two that are the same. Never noticed that before. What's that? Wife. To my dear wife. Oh. And this is the story. I'll read it to you. I was recently entrusted with the custody of this amazing heirloom. Has no direct family remains to take care of it. It is a collection of silk postcards from the Private Alexander Dowling sent to his wife and children from France in World War I. The silk postcards were hand embroidered by French women. Okay, see, I've already got the story wrong. So he didn't do it. He's bought them from French ladies and sent them back to his wife. That's why he would have two, often by those who had been displaced from their homes from the brutality of the war. Most were living in precarious, unsafe, unfamiliar places. To help supplement their income, they took up the task of embroidery. Maybe I should have read this before I started talking because this is filling in all the gaps. The bright colours and the expressions like forget-me-nots, to my dear wife, God be with you until we meet again, and the hope and love were embellished with the rising sun and the national flags and the flowers onto silk and were designed to help keep them temporarily both distracted, both the sender and the receiver, of the unrelenting tensions that was war during the time in Europe. Perhaps this is why they appealed to the soldiers so much, possibly explains why they spent considerable sums of money on these bright, colourful fabrics to send home to their loved ones. Aha. So he's probably bought the little person with the flowers. Sometime later he's bought it again, not realising he had already got it, and sent it. So that's why there's two. Private Dowling enlisted as a 41-year-old just 3 days before commencing at the Gallipoli campaign. He suffered with gastritis in 1917, and when well enough, he was discharged and returned home. He lived to the age of 102. Oh my goodness. Years of age as a resident of Mount Eliza. Alexandra's wife obviously treasured these silk postcards sent to her, and they were subsequently stitched together into this frame. There is writing on the back of this piece that records the gift from Private Dowling to his granddaughter, lest we forget. There you go. What do you reckon? How good's that? So now, oh gee, I'm glad I took a photo of that description. So now I've got the story straight. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. I wonder how many of those little postcards are out there. I've never knew they existed. Do you know of them? Are you familiar with them? Do you have some in your family? What a treasure. And the fact that they were all stitched together into a collage. Oh, how special. So I thought you'd like that. I've been meaning to show you for so long. I don't think I'd shown you. I definitely hadn't. I've never read that out. I probably talked about it and then just never remembered. So it made me think of it when I was thinking about Ulna's lace. Now, the lady that owned this establishment, she had a lady there stitching on a retreat with someone else's group, and she mentioned that she had inherited all of this lace from a family member and didn't know what to do with it, where to start, how do I sell it? So the owner of the retreat said, well, look, you can sell it through my little pop-up shop that I have out the back. And she had like a little building to the side of the main house full of treasures, and on the final day it was opened up to us and we could go in there and pick up some more bits and pieces. So I spotted all that lace, and there was multiples of each design, so a few of us that caught our eye, so we went a bit silly, bought a lot of it. And I've got it in 2 boxes that I got also at that retreat. And my plan, got not enough time. My plan is to make a journal that will hold these beautiful pieces of lace. I really should actually send a message to Rachel from Roxy Creations, who sells journals, and see if she's got another couple covers she could send to me. I'm using one for this project, and they're a really good size. A really good size. It gives you plenty of space to, lay out. You can't use anything too small because you just will run out of space. So my plan is to make a journal dedicated to that lady, and we secure all of that lace in there. A lot of it's German lace. I just don't want it to disappear into my craft table, never to be seen again. So there you go. I finally remembered to tell you about that little story. Where's that little gold bead that I was going to use for the eye? I want to stitch that down. Here we go. How cute. So the plan now, the beads are in place, the tatting is in place, the eye is in place. It's time to stitch Bunny in place. So I'll just get myself a decent, put the lid on the beads, girl, before there's a disaster. Because Corrine is very good at spilling beads. I need a bigger knot. So these little flowers that I cut out and clustered around the hearts, they would look rather cute around the base of this bunny. Like have him sitting in something. I could do something through here. Anyway, stay focused. Let's move him over a fraction. So that's where he's going to go. Sit his little tush on that hemline. A little pin just to hold him. And then I'm just going to do a overcast stitch and whip around that outer edge to secure him. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you know of those little treasures that the ladies were selling to the soldiers. That makes sense. See, in my head, he did all the work. But how could he? He was busy. Sounds like he was sick. He was busy in the war. He wouldn't have had time to pull needle and thread out. Wouldn't that have been a dream? Imagine if all those soldiers sat down every day for an hour or so and just did some stitching. They may have realised how stupid the whole war thing was. But it didn't happen, did it? What a great way for the ladies in the area to earn an income. So clever. What a great, great, great story. All right, lift that up. So yeah, if you do take some photos of some artwork you see, try and take a photo of the description to the side of it, because your memory, you can't remember everything. And it's nice to have that, because then you can keep the story straight. All right, I'm just whipping around here, securing his little legs into position. Trying not to catch that little piece of chiffon, because that's like a little skirt, little flap of fabric on our little bunny. All right. The world's waking up. Emails are dropping in. Texts are dropping in. I think it's about 7:30. Let's just bring that up so we can, I'm going to need more thread. Once it gets to a certain length, it just comes out all the time of the needle. I might get a couple more stitches and then I'll get another piece of thread. Oops, don't catch the chiffon, girl. All right, let's end that off. Alrighty. I'm sure that place that we went to was called Mainly Sewing. So if you're out there and you are looking for a great venue for a heap of girlfriends in Melbourne to get together for a weekend of sewing, I'd highly recommend their venue. You pretty much get the use of a whole house. Oh, goodness me. Let's just, whoops. Yeah, I'd recommend it as a place you could go and feel very much at home. If I lived in Melbourne, I reckon I would be there doing some retreats because it was just such a fantastic venue. They must have a catering place nearby. There were a few restaurants. It was sort of in a rural area out on the Mornington Peninsula. You sort of drove. I stayed at a golf course with a motel and restaurant area off to the side, so I had somewhere to sort of get breakfast, and then it was a 15-minute drive for me to get to the actual retreat each day, which was nothing because I was driving through the most beautiful countryside. Llamas and cows and donkeys and vineyards and, you know, the whole beautiful environment. It was cold, but for a Queenslander, it was cold. They had the fireplace going in the house. Oh, I know when I got back to the motel room, it was that classic motel, which you'd expect at a golf course. It was freezing, and I had this miserable little air conditioning unit on the wall, and it just took a good 2 hours to even take the chill out of the air. And then by morning, it was warm, but it was so stuffy. But not that I'm complaining. I need to be appreciative of what I did have. Hello to all the girls that were at that retreat with me. I met quite a few ladies that knew of me or found me, and we still chat. Hello, Dawn and Willie. Call them my super fans. They were just gorgeous. How are you, girls? I'm sure you're watching and stitching. What are you up to, girls? Tell me in the comments. I saw Dawn posted a picture on her Instagram account of some mixed media painting that she'd been doing, and oh my goodness, the girl is good. Coming down that ear. Oh, I better go, guys. Back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. It was one of our shops. We're having a few problems with our website. For some reason, all the orders from customers are going to junk. And then when we reply back to the customer and say, hey, you know, your order's on the way, or, you know, just communication, our email is going to their junk mail. So Chelsea, our manager, she's such a gem. She did a bit of research, and apparently in the back end of the website, I had to click a couple buttons which connected the email addresses to my domain name, and all is flowing now. Hopefully we'll know in 24 hours. So she was ringing to tell me she thinks she'd figured it out. She thought she'd figured it out. So I had to jump on the computer, quickly get onto the back end of the website, click, 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 and we will know in 48 hours if that little problem has been solved. I'll tell you, technology's moving so fast for us old ducks. And thank goodness we've got staff that can understand the jibber jabber and say, righto, Corrine, you need to do this, this, and this. Because I tell you, We used to be the experts, but these kids are now. Thank goodness. Anyway, I've got sidetracked. While I was chatting to Chelsea, let me just stop for a moment. While I was chatting to Chelsea, I finished stitching Bunny on. Beads are done, Bunny's in position. I want to do something here, and in the process, this brown rosette flower was sitting there, and while I was chatting to Chelsea, I started finding a spot for it, and I've decided to stitch it here. So that's where we're at. We're all caught up now. Gee, I'm glad that website issue is sorted. That's been in the back of my mind for a week now. Oh, I tell you. Oh, my brother rang the other day. He'd lost his wallet. Oh, my goodness. Didn't know where it was. He'd gone with his carer across to a doctor's appointment. And he got to the counter and there was no wallet. So everyone went into a tailspin and they searched her car and searched where he'd been, nothing. So he rings me Friday afternoon and says, Corrine, I've lost my wallet, can you help me? So I said to him, will you ring the bank and get your key card replaced? He's had to do that before, so I thought he could handle that little task. He goes, yep, I can do that. And then that leaves Medicare card, which you need when you go to the doctor, and a pension card also for chemists and everything. So they're probably the two main. Doesn't have a driver's license, so that's one thing we didn't have to sort. So I said to him, look, it's Friday lunchtime. Let's just leave it for the weekend because it could turn up. Someone in the local town may pick it up if you dropped it, say, getting in and out of the car. It could still be at the house before he left. He may not have actually had it with him by the time he'd driven to the doctor with Penny. You know, it could have been somewhere. So he agreed. He says, yep, good idea, because, you know, Dad, unfortunately, is always losing his. And it's often because the boys put it down somewhere and they get sidetracked. They might be loading the car up or servicing some vegetables for someone, or, you know, they get sidetracked and then they can't find it. So, yeah, he then rings me 2 days later and says, we found the wallet. Excellent news, we found the wallet. Yay. What had happened is, as he was walking to the car to go with Penny across to his doctor's appointment, they must have stopped for some reason at the side of the house where the barbecue is. I'm just opening a container full of morsels that I think match Honey Bear. There's those brown flowers. So I just want to have a look in here and see if we can do something with the bunny. Being nature is our prompt. Gee, that's beautiful, but so different. It's the wrong colour. So it looks like he has been standing around the side of the barbecue, chatting probably, got sidetracked, and he's put his wallet down on the barbecue, on the side of it, and then made their way to the car and off they're gone. I just feel like I want a little cluster of yumminess there at the bottom of the skirt. So wallet has been found, and I was dead set. I was sitting on the couch stitching those butterflies, and I was thinking about the week ahead and what I had to do. It's sort of too much. And I thought I must hop on my laptop and get on to, we've got it's called MyGov in Australia, where you can go in there and connect to Centrelink, who controls pensions, Medicare for your Medicare card, the tax department's there. Oh, there's probably more than I even realise is in there, but it's where you can go pretty much to, you know, communicate with all the major government authorities. So it makes it pretty simple. And I was sitting there stitching the butterflies thinking I must get on there and order those cards. This is Sunday evening or late Sunday afternoon, and that way, but maybe they can pop them in the mail first thing Monday morning. He's hoping a government agency would be that slick. It was just a hope. And by the end of the week, he would have all of his ID back. See what I mean? He is hoping. So, yeah, I'm sitting there thinking about it. Must do that. Try and do it Sunday night, girl. Maybe you'll just get it all sorted then by the end of the week. It'll be done. And then within 5 minutes, the phone rings and it's my brother saying, great news, I found the wallet, all is good again. I was like, oh, wow. Just thinking about that little job. So, yeah. Just looking in here and I can't see anything that really suits. I'm just going to close my door. Because my husband's coming for breakfast and he'll start clinging and clanging around. Maybe a button. And another little job on my mind was this bloomin' website that the shops that we have. Because it'd be driving the staff crazy thinking, why are we not getting emails? And I'm going to do this really big one next. So Chelsea girl has figured it out. A couple clicks of buttons and we may be sorted. She's expecting a shipping container of stock today too. So we had some strikes at the wharf over the weekend. And I thought it might catch our ship in amongst all that. But I haven't had a notification to say that the container's not coming. And we've got quite a few staff rostered on. She said she does have work for them for the day. If for some reason the container doesn't happen, she can easily amuse them all. She's got plenty of little jobs ready in the waiting. So we were just discussing that, sorting out the website, having a little chit chat. We've had to have a think about the transfer of stock between stores, with us mucking around with Barham and not being around as much over the next 3 weeks. Sort of be 3 days in Brisbane and 3 days up there as we settle, you know, a few tasks. I wrote an email to them and said, look guys, you're going to have to probably cancel any internal transfers unless it's super important, like a big order or something, and you need a couple 100 units of an item from your sister store to make up a big order. That's fine. You know, call me, because we're passing every 3 or 4 days, so we can still, you know, swing by, pick up stock, drop off stock, you know, things like plastic bags and tissue paper and, you know, general stuff as well also needs to be sorted. Printer rolls for tills, all those types of general stuff. But for general, you know, someone wants a tea towel. And, well, in the past, we'd go for a drive and pick things up, drop things off. We were sort of the courier, my husband and I. But we're going to be a little bit busy for the next couple of weeks. So we just said to him, just have a chat to your staff and let's just postpone internal transfers for a couple of weeks until we get back to our routines. Because I'd hate to have someone promise something and we not deliver because we just can't. So it's safer just to stop all that. And, you know, at the end of the day, where was I? I bought some sandals and there was a deal, buy one and you get your second one half price. So I got my sandals and I love them. I thought, oh, these are great. And they came in a few different colours. So I thought, oh, I'll have a good look around for my second pair at half price. Could not find anything I liked. Or if I did like it, I'll never wear it because it's just not a sandal. It's a bit flashier. And I said to the lady, look, just give me a navy pair of the same sandal because I think I'd wear that. And my size wasn't available, of course. So I asked her, do you transfer stock between stores? Nope. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So I had to drive to another store that was 20 minutes away to get my size. And she said, I'll ring ahead and I'll find out if they've got it and get them to put aside. So I'm like, yep, all right. There's nothing else on today. I'll go for a drive. So she couldn't get hold of them. There was no answer at the shop. So I said, look, I can't wait any longer. I'll just go. I'm sure they're probably busy with customers and don't have time to be picking up the phone talking about my sandals. And she said, well, they've got 4 pairs in stock. And I said, well, they're not going to sell them all in the next 20 minutes. We'll go. So I got out to the car and I said to my husband, he'd met me back at the vehicle, and I said, look, we're going across to Wynnum. No, it wasn't Wynnum, Victoria Point Shopping Centre to pick up the second pair of sandals, and they're half price. He goes, oh, all right, no worries. We haven't been to that shopping centre for years. Let's go for a drive. I said, yeah, we'll get a bit of lunch and, you know, what the hang. Nice little afternoon jaunt. So we get there, and it was around the time that the show holidays were on. So in Brisbane, the big carnival, the big show, everyone gets a public holiday, but it depends on which council you live in. Oh, there's a button with a shank. That could go on her little dress. Sidetracked. Look at that. It's a butterfly button. I'm going to put it on. I don't know where it's come from. I will never use it in a million years unless it goes on to a teddy bear's dress. So the butterfly button's going on. Yeah, so we drive all the way over to this shopping centre, and it turned out that that shire was on public holiday. That's why she didn't answer the phone. So we get there and 2/3 of the shopping centre's closed. Public holiday. We get to the shoe shop, roller doors down, closed. And this is a major brand. You'd think they would have been open, but it is a smaller shopping centre. It was closed. So, yeah. How did I even get onto that story? I do not know. So, oh yeah, I know, transferring between locations. Well, they wouldn't do it. So I sort of feel a little bit bad that we're not doing it, but gosh, we're only 2 stores. And it's only a couple weeks. I hope customers forgive us. And even Chelsea, like, she read the email yesterday and she was chatting about it, and she'd already started telling customers about it. And she said that one lady said, yeah, no problems, jumped straight in the car and drove over to the second store and bought an extra set of lights that Chelsea no longer had at her store. And it wasn't an issue because she was like, yeah, I'm going to the other Christmas shop. I'm like, oh, good. So I thought that was great. I feel a bit better knowing that that could potentially work. So yeah. Oh, the dramas of being in retail. I'll tell you. It's only going to get sillier as Santa gets closer, as you can imagine. But we'll have to settle down and be around for all of that. Chelsea's going to house sit the house and look after Bandit and Fudge. and our hard drive, or the server that the whole system is based on for our shops, is here at our house. So if anything goes pear-shaped with that and it needs to be reset in the morning, my husband's given Chelsea the full instructions, so even then he could talk her through it. Sometimes Telstra might do an update through the night and ruin the internet connection, and the server needs to be switched off, switched back on, so all of the settings and protocols all come back into play. So Chelsea will be able to do that. It's a bit hard when we're 4 hours away, and you don't want your shops using pen, paper and a calculator for too long, because that'd be very annoying for them. So there's Bunny with some bits, a couple buttons. Gee, that butterfly button, that's good. It's gone. Now, what I want to do is I'll unpick those beads, but before I do, let's see if this little blue button will work. I think it will. Oh, I'm going to do it. Eclectic Little Honey Bear has different, because I'm pretty sure by the time I take 4 of those pearly buttons off of the pillar slip that's donating buttons to the Celebrate the Seasons project, I suspect, so right in the middle of that lace we need this button stitched. I suspect there'll be none left for Honey Bear to get another 2 for her little top. And I think it's rather cute that a bear would have mismatching buttons, don't you? I think she would. So I'm going to have to go for a hunt and find one more. And being that it's blue, like, seriously, was that meant to be? I think it was. I'll tell you where I might find some of these buttons, some shank buttons, is up at Burrum, is a little country town nearby called Howard. So all you Queensland girls from that region, you'll know where I'm talking about. In that little town is a very old haberdashery store that's been going since goodness knows when. Well, the old boy and the old girl that have run it for many, many years, they have passed, and the estate has now sold the business to a new family. It's all very exciting. So they've been on Facebook introducing themselves to the community, and they sell everything to do with sewing. And it's like an Aladdin's cave. It's just, oh. And you go in there and he had this big basket of buttons that were all still on the cards, you know, when they stitch them onto the little paper cards. And they were 20 cents, I think, or something like that for years. And every time we were up there, I'd just slip into Howard, have a look at the little fabric store, pick up a treasure. And these buttons used to amuse me that he had still on the little cards. Gee, I hope that fits over there. Yes, it does. Oh. So I just need one more. And I'll tell you, if I was to find a button for Honey Bear's dress, it would probably be in that box of, there's another butterfly button, a cream one. So if I don't find a button with a shank in here, there's an apricot one. Doesn't really work, does it? I think I would probably find one in Howard. The green one doesn't work. What else have we got? So I don't have many shank buttons. When you do slow stitch, you don't really gravitate to them because, well, there's a pink one. It doesn't really suit either, does it? But a bear would have a pink one. But we need to keep it either cream, gold, brown, blue, It's not looking good, Honey Bear. I love watching the YouTube girls that have got their little containers of treasures and they're rummaging through them looking for something to add to their piece. Love seeing all that. No, nothing. Nothing. All right. Okay, I won't cut that off. I'll do that off camera because I'll need to get the container ready. What we might do is, before we go, because I'm pretty happy with Bunny there, is I'll grab these 2 containers where this lace is from the German lady and see if there's anything in here that could be added to Honey Bear's dress. But, you know, my instinct is to hold it all together in a journal. It was so reasonably priced. No, nothing. Nothing. And then this tin had some in it. Thought there might be something for up around her neckline, like a little, like something like that, you know, a little motif. That's got potential, but do I want to divide it up? I'm thinking not. It's been stitched all together. Nope, I can't do it. All right, at least I can say that that's out of my head now as an option. So this little morsel is looking very promising. And I might even wrap it over the edge, and that'll just neaten that edge up if I go across like that. I can hear emails dropping in. The world is calling me, guys, and I don't want to go. I want to stay here in my own little world and avoid the rest of it. It's like a little medallion. I'll just pin it for now and think about it. I do like it, but it does finish off her little neckline. But it is very big. Oh, there's another email. All right, I'll think about it. I'll stitch that down, I think, this evening. And then I'll have to find something for there. I need to find another little button. It's coming together. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Honey Bear's little dress is getting really pretty with all these eclectic little bits and pieces. All right, I'm going to say goodbye. I better go and step out of my craft room and join the world and, yeah, start my day. All right, guys, I will see you and catch you in the next video. Okay, bye.